This episode includes negative depictions and simplified stereotypes of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than ignoring parts of the park's history, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this episode, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland and Disneyland history with mementos, snapshots, and postcards sent from Disneyland from 1955 to the present. Today I'm starting off by thanking my patrons from Patreon.com. You can join and receive mail from my desk or from my Disneyland trips. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the e-ticket patrons Tania, Eric Daniels, Joe Gamble, Scott Booker, Monica Seitz Vega, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Scott Cagle, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Ben and Noel Bruning, Patty Wolin, Angela Reynolds, and Aaron Moran. B-ticket patrons The Disney Rewind Podcast, Jeff and Paige Orton, and Joshua, and Exorable Tosh Bell. And the A-ticket patrons, Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Maggie and Henry Byers, Angel DeBlois, and the All Aboard podcast. You can also sign up for my new newsletter for a chance to get some postcards delivered by the USPS to your mailbox. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has Brer Fox and Brer Bear leaning against a lamppost in New Orleans Square. Behind them, you can see part of Cafe Orleans and the doorway to Lafayette's Silver Shop. On the back it reads, Familiar Faces. New Orleans Square is a great place to pal around for Brer Bear and Brer Fox. It's postmarked April 2nd, 1981, with a Los Angeles U.S. Postal Service Serving America Council and a torn U.S. flag postage that looks like a 15-cent The Land of the Free and Home of the Brave postage stamp, Scott number 1597. I assume they visited the park on Wednesday, April 1st, 1981, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 68 and a low of 51. It's addressed to Judy Scoff of Fairfax, California. It reads, Judy, Mom's wonderful. This has been quite a week. I really can't wait to be home. I'll fill you in on all the details when I see you in person. I gave Mickey Mouse a big hug for you. Miss ya and love ya, little friend Lori. Tucked away in New Orleans Square was a window service restaurant called La Petite Patisserie. The location would have been featured on this postcard. It opened in 1988 and was in the same building as Cafe Orleans, at least 10 years after the photo for this postcard was taken. This was the third window service restaurant to open in New Orleans Square. The Mint Julep Bar and the Royal Street Veranda opened in 1966, the same year as New Orleans Square opened. Originally, the space was the home of Lafayette's Silver Shop, but in 1988, the Silver Shop was removed and the Creole Café, now Cafe Orleans, expanded into that space, and La Petite Patisserie was added. The first time it was described in a Disneyland map was in a 1989 map, and it was listed to sell assorted pastries and beverages. In the 1990 map, which is when the free Disneyland maps were expanded to a larger size and to have more description, La Petite Patisserie is given this description. It reads, French cinnamon rolls, croissants, and fancy pastries served with coffee, soft drinks, and assorted beverages. Looking up some history on it, at one point, it served waffles on sticks with toppings of chocolate or powdered sugar. La Petite Patisserie was only open on busy days and peak seasons, and was only open for part of those days. The window permanently closed in 2004, and eventually was taken over by a Cafe Orleans expansion. Great news, Enfield Post is back up on Etsy. Grabbing some vintage stamps is a great way to plus your mail, whether you're trying to match the color of your postcard or envelope, or adding a themed stamp to the back of your mail. Be sure to check out Enfield Post. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the Royal Street Bachelors playing for some guests and some characters in New Orleans Square in front of the one-of-a-kind shop. The trio are playing a stand-up bass, a banjo, and the clarinet. On the back it reads, New Orleans Square. The magic enchantment of Old New Orleans Square is the setting for unique shops, eating places in colorful New Orleans Square. It's postmarked July 17, 1980, with an Anaheim cancel and a 15-cent Oliver Wendell Holmes postage stamp, Scott number 1288. I assume they visit the park on Wednesday, July 16, 1980, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 89 and a low of 63. It's addressed to Mrs. Marie Collins of Chicago, Illinois. It reads, Dear Grandma, how are you? It's really great out here in Disneyland. There is so much to see and do. The weather is great. See you soon. Love, Art, and Pat. While looking through my late 1980s Disneyland maps, I ran across something interesting about the 1989 map. It has a similar layout to its predecessors. These maps were guides, with a lot of information in the front, a fold-out map of the park in the middle, and each land had its own map with detailed captions for each attraction, shop, and restaurant. The difference of this map comes with the additional details added to over half the pages of the book. The changes were made to promote the newest addition to Disneyland, Splash Mountain. The cover of the map is an image of guests teetering in a log at the top of the mountain's waterfall. Brer Fox is on one of the ledges, and there is an image of Brer Rabbit laughing in the sky. At the bottom corner of the cover, Brer Bear is turning the page. Each map section, except Frontierland, has one or more of the Splash Mountain characters as a special detail on the page. The Fantasyland page has Brer Rabbit riding an orange Skyway gondola. In Tomorrowland, Brer Bear and Brer Fox seem to be knocked out, and Brer Rabbit is flying in a Tomorrowland rocket jet, while in New Orleans Square, Brer Rabbit is dressed as a ghost scaring the hat off of Brer Fox. In Adventureland, Brer Rabbit is dropping a coconut on Brer Bear's head. On Main Street, Brer Fox and Brer Bear are chasing Brer Rabbit, who is riding on the back of the trolley of a horse-drawn streetcar. Finally, in Critter Country, where Splash Mountain opened, you can see Brer Fox pretending to be the top of a wood-carved totem pole, while Brer Fox and Brer Bear look confused. There have been other maps with special characters added to promote either a new movie, parade, or attraction, but nothing as extensive as this. This incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is an online craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Be sure to check out Monday's ATD, which is usually hosted by paper artist Russ Romano. I've seen many amazing art projects, learned about awesome postmarks, postage stamp history, and a lot more on different episodes. It's great to stop in for an hour to watch someone craft or design something unique. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has the CK Holiday pulling into Frontierland Station. You can see the water tower and the second set of tracks that would allow trains to pass each other when you could only take Grand Circle tours. On the back it reads, Passenger train at Frontierland Water Tower. The Santa Fe and Disneyland passenger train makes a stop for water in Frontierland as she carries passengers on a scenic journey around the Magic Kingdom. It's postmarked August 2nd, 2023, with an Indianapolis, Indiana cancel and a Round Barn Forever postcard postage stamp, Scott number 5553. It reads, from Scott Booker, quote, That's the real trouble with the world. Too many people grow up, unquote, Walt Disney. Thank you so much for the postcard, Scott. This was a welcome surprise along with the Viewmaster reels you sent in my P.O. box. This episode will post while I'm down in Southern California, and hopefully we'll get caught up on sending mail responses to postcards I've received over the past few months. I'll be down in LA for work, but we'll make some time to sit and relax and enjoy some postcard writing. And to be a kid again, as Walt suggests. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would be helpful to share your favorite episode to a friend or on social media. There are over 200 to choose from. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment at whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Sent From Disneyland, or on Twitter at Sent From Disney. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent From Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to its host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast.